give some ideas that I want you as the artist and dancer to explore. So I would say there's nothing set in choreography. However, we can move in ways that are embodying an idea unique to us. So I would like to begin just with the arms. I want you to imagine your arms are like seaweed in water. So really playing and exploring how the arms want to move like seaweed in water. As you explore, you can internalize what that feeling is. You can start small and just really understanding how that movement initiates. Let that concept go. Let's work on the hips. Think of the hips as water swirling around a bowl. So use our hips as the bowl, and you can move within that bowl as if you're water. So water swirling inside a bowl. So you really play. As you explore, you can play with the speed of it. Continue to get out of the mind and controlling the movement and really allowing the movement to take over, embodying that idea. Water swirling inside of a bowl. Let that idea go as well. So as we continue exploring these ideas, really separating the body in a very deconstructed way. So instead of being so upright and moving everything all at once, really finding the isolation and focusing on the task. So just the hands. Let's imagine we have long tentacles like octopus in our hands. So playing with the idea of the many legs that an octopus has. Octopus are very smart. Let's let that idea go. So far we played with the idea of our arms like seaweed in water, the idea of the hips as a bowl in water swirling within that bowl. And then we play with our hands and how our hands can embody the legs of an octopus. So really continue to develop and lose yourself in these concepts. I want you to imagine you have a bee in your ear that swirls around your head. Zzz. Imagine that bee coming to the side of your right ear, making its way out of the ear into your hand, and you have the bee between your two fingers. You have the stinger in your hands. The bee's still alive. Imagine you take that bee and you swallow it. The bee's inside of your spine, in your stomach. The bee travels to your hips. Allow that bee to travel all the way to your right foot. Allow that bee to make its way to your left shoulder. Bee travel to your chest. Allow that bee to come up through your neck. And out through your mouth. Back into your fingers. You can set that bee down and let it fly away. So, if you're joining this class for the first time, or you're reoccurring, you understand that I am always looking to evolve my movement and try something new. But these ideas are very important to explore, and not just these particular concepts that I'm introducing today, but always when we're dancing, I think we should always go beyond what we're comfortable with, go into the unknown and dive, because that's where I think that movement evolves, when we try something that we're unfamiliar with. And I also think that's when it becomes interesting to the audience. I think when we go see shows, a lot of the movement is familiar, and a lot of people do relate to what they're used to. But I think if we're in contemporary dance, and contemporary represents what's happening today, we need to, as artists, continue evolving and continue doing things that are not so familiar, not so structured, and more into the abyss. So playing with different concepts in your movement, and still it becomes a flow. You lose yourself in the movement, it flows fluidly through your body. So keeping those ideas in mind, let's continue exploring with concepts like this, and really deconstructing the idea of the technical body and really playing. So now I want you to think of a basketball being dribbled, and that basketball is you. So really bouncing like a basketball. So imagine somebody is pushing you down like a basketball. That really relaxed feeling. That pleasurable feeling. Let the idea go. Really allowing the body to release. Allowing the muscles to soften, allowing everything to melt off the bone. This idea, I'm going to continue going to this wall and then coming back to it. But idea of falling off balance, coming back to neutral, falling off balance, coming off to neutral. So starting neutral and we fall, and then really always finding a new way to fall. Maybe leading with the ear. Maybe leading with the hip. Maybe leading with the top of the head. Maybe leading with the nose. Maybe leading with the left hip. Last one. Let's lead from the right arm. Yeah. So, these ideas are very abstract, and each person that takes on these ideas will embody the concepts in a very different way. And imagine if you had a company of dancers doing these concepts, and you see it from the audience, and you notice that, yes, the idea is familiar, because they're all doing something relative to one another, and you kind of feel it, not knowing exactly what it is, their intention is, but you know that there is an intention behind the movement. That for me is very interesting, to see dancers, contemporary dancers, embodying an idea, but not doing it so perfectly synchronized, not perfectly technical, but the idea of ideas. So people falling and falling and falling, and that may resonate with the audience in different ways. It may resonate, I had that feeling of falling when I was failing. I had that feeling of falling when I was on top of a building. Whatever it may be, ideas resonate with people. And when it's more open-ended, it can be interpreted. Therefore, it can be relatable to more and more people. Instead of giving such a specific idea that you want to convey, if you leave it open-ended, it becomes more available. So I want to play with all of the ideas that we worked on so far and find a mishmash, find a flow. Each idea is very clear and the concept is something you need to fulfill, but let's mix up the order and then really see how we can create some sort of solo, since we're dancing at home on our own, with these very abstract ideas. So just to review, we did arms as sea, we did water, and then we did water in the bowl, which is our hips, and then we move around like there's water, and then we did hands like octopus, and then we played with the idea of the bee in our ears, and then going through our body, the bee coming out. We played with the idea of falling off center, and we played with the idea of the basketball. So I'm going to call out different things. I'm going to call it basketball. I'm going to call it bee, and we're going to play with all these ideas and see how we can create some sort of solo that's very deconstructed, but also has a clear conceptual idea of what we're doing. So let's begin with hands like octopus. arms like seaweed in water. Stop. Continue. Stop. Continue. Stop. Basketball. Seaweed in water. Basketball. Basketball and seaweed in water. Stop. Be in your belly button. Through your spine. Through your left arm. To your hips. To your knees. All the way up your spine. And to the right ear. Pull the ear, beat out of the ears. It's in your fingers. Back to the octopus. Take the idea, falling off balance. Basketball. Be in your chest. Stop. Arms, seaweed. Stop. Basketball. Stop. Falling. Stop. Octopus. Stop. You can let that go. So, I will end the class just speaking just a little bit more about what we did today. You know, I think it's so important to try something new. Sometimes you find that whatever you try works, and then you can use whatever worked and apply it to your dancing, apply it to your improv, apply it to something you're choreographing. That way your movement has a new vocabulary every time you create, every time you go out there and dance. Sometimes you fail, sometimes things don't work, sometimes things are just so abstract, doesn't make any sense, it's not relatable, it doesn't feel good, and that's okay too. So I think that if you join me for today, thank you so much. Thank you for exploring, examining, researching movement. And again, it's really not what I did and how I moved. I hope that you took these ideas that I introduced and played with it in your way, in your own artistry, in how you connect to ideas and movement and what you're feeling, and how you feel is how that movement brings honesty and truth, and that honesty and truth will resonate to an audience member. And this is something I've really learned. Not everyone will understand what you're doing, but if you're telling the truth through your movement, it will resonate with someone. And if it resonates just with one person, I think that's very important. I think that's what dance does. It allows us to connect to ourselves and to people who need that person or feeling to connect to. So I thank you for exploring movement concepts and ideas with me today for flow. I will be back on, I believe, Thursday at 9 a.m. to teach another flow class. And again, no expectations, but always trying something new within movement and flow and dance. Thank you so much.